Let's start. Okay. So good morning, everyone. So currently we are seeing Sqoop. So we'll just have a small recap. So what is Sqoop means? If we want to move the data from RDBMS to SGFS and vice versa. So at that time we will be using the tool called Sqoop. Sqoop is nothing but SQL plus Hadoop. That's what we use as Sqoop. And what it does is it gets the data and it will run the mapper on top of the data and it will push the data from RDBMS to SDFS in a parallel manner. So how much mapper can it run? We can define that. The default mapper it can run is 4. Okay. So how does it run? Like it gets the metadata from the RDBMS and then it runs a query on top of it. From there, it will get the data, whatever the data needs to be transferred. That is the basic operation of Sqoop. And yesterday, we have seen how to move one table. Yesterday, what we have seen is we just moved only one table and checked how it is moved and all. We'll just see the target once. Hadoop, FS, LS, user, Cloudera, city. So yesterday we have just moved those entries from RDBMS, which is our MySQL, to HDFS. Here we moved and we left the mapper as 4. We did not mention the mapper. So it took 4 mappers and it ran and job is completed. So 4 files created out in the target. Okay, this is a normal operation which has happened. Now we will see what kind of scenarios can come into this.
Aru, this is Anbu.
Yeah.
So we have some variables right here, RW, or can you just minimize here, RW or R1 Cloudera, right?
So, RW, which one?
No. Here, found 5 items, right?
Okay, here. Okay.
In the 3rd line, 4th line, 5th line.
I think that is a read
So
write.
what it stands for?
Okay.
That's a file read write execution mode.
Yeah.
No. For an example, like whether it will show like how many map has been run and whether is any one of the map has been failed or something. Will it show that?
This will not show this. What is this? This is the end result, like final output of the data. So RW, RR, this is the permissions. What is the permission? This is owner, this is the group, and this is the others. This is the Linux permission, and this is just shown that only. The RW means owner has read write access, others have only read access. This is just a file only.
Okay, rewrite and access in the sense. So can we update the table?
No, it's not a table, right? It is currently we are dealing with the SDFS data. We cannot update it in SDFS, right?
No. So it shows the rewrite, right? So that's why.
Okay.
Read and write.
Yeah, you can rewrite it. You can delete and again you can update it on top of it. Like here in the city, if you take this, you can rewrite. That is a permission. This folder itself has only owner can read or write. If others try to read write, then it will throw an error. Here it has different permission.
Okay.
Basically, Anbu, it's in a file in Unix or in Linux. There are some properties where we call it as 777. That means anybody can have the permission to read or write to the existing file. Or you can restrict with the numbers, like that is called mode, and then you can set the values. Either 645 or 777 like
understood. That. Like Ganesh, I think he understood. What is his question is why read write? Because we cannot write in SDFS, right? That's what the question is, right?
Yes.
Here, what is the write means you can delete. Others cannot delete. Only owner can delete. That's what write means. Only owner can delete.
So the entire file or entire table, right?
All these files only owner can delete, others cannot delete. That's what write means. Because here we don't have any like write. We cannot edit the file in SDFS. So what it means is you can delete and put the same name for another file. That's what write means in
in
SDFS.
the another folder, right?
In the another folder means in the city folder. See, currently who is the owner? Cloudera is the owner for this file. If some other user comes, if he tries to delete the file, he will not be able to delete, but he can only read. That was this permission means.
Okay.
Okay, fine. So here it created 4 files. Okay, how Sqoop actually creates 4 files means, let's go into our MySQL -u root -p. Oh, sorry, I gave the wrong password. Okay, show tables, and I have city. Okay, GSC city. So if I I'm just seeing the structure of the city table, and it is showing me it has ID as a primary key. It's an auto increment one, so that is an integer also. It's ID as a primary key and it's an integer. So when we are scooping, it will go and check the table whether it has any primary key or not. If the table has primary key, then it will take that primary key. Based on that only, it will split the columns. So how it will split? There is one one formula which will run in the behind hood, which is so Sqoop will fire a query to RDBMS in MySQL, which will look like this one. Like select minimum of our primary key column, maximum of primary column from table. So this query like Sqoop will fire. Like here in our case, what it will happen is, in order to find minimum of split by column, which is our ID, that is a primary key column, right? Maximum of ID. So it will take both, and then from the result of this, it will take the count of the total number of records. Count of total number records it will get. On that record only, it will create the number of mappers, and the number of records will be split across the mappers. Number of mappers will get split across based on this query's result. So how that is done? Once this query fires, it will result the data, and then after that, what happens is we need to calculate the split size. So for that, what is the formula is maximum minus minimum divided by number of mappers. That much split size it should go. So in our example, if we take example like 4,000, the number of mapper is 4. So total size, maximum of total size is 4, like 4,000 minus 0 divided by 4. That means 1,000. So each mapper will hold 1,000 records. Then the split will split accordingly. 0 to 1, 0 to 100. First mapper will take care. 100 to 200, 200 to 300, 300 to 400. Okay, and then it will generate the query to fetch those columns. Like again, it will generate one SQL query only to fetch the columns and then run the first mapper. So first mapper will have select star from the table where split by column is less than 0 and then greater than 0 and then less than 100. And the second mapper will have next query. So this is the first mapper's query. This is for mapper 1. Mapper 1 will transfer the result of this query. Then mapper 2, this is mapper 2 will change the query like 101 to 200. It's here 200, 300. Fine. 300 to 400. This is mapper 3. This is mapper 4. So this query will be internally created and then it will push the data accordingly. It will push the record accordingly. So what is the main thing here is primary key. So the table should have primary key in order to achieve this functionality. Fine. What if the table does not have the primary key? If the table does not have the primary key, we can manually specify our split by column. We can manually specify split by column, so that this is one specific column which we can specify. That column will be taken for this for the formula calculation, and then based on that record will get splitted. And if you don't want to specify the split by column also, you have one more idea or one more method to solve this, which is you have to restrict the entire mapper to only one mapper. So only one mapper you can run. If you run one mapper, then you are giving up the parallelism for the cost of primary key. In that case, only one output data will be only one output file will get generated.
Okay. Aru, again another question. Like
Yeah.
I may be wrong, but it's a doubt.
Yeah.
Okay. So when we discuss about the HDFS, we told that the files, the data will get stored as a files, right?
Correct.
So how this is going to be taken as a tables?
Okay. So whatever we are dealing with here, the tables, that is source. This is happening from the RDBMS perspective only. Once it goes into HDFS, it is again going to be a file only. RDBMS, it's a table. So this query will get fire in RDBMS side, not in HDFS side.
Okay. So this is on the when we are feeding data into HDFS, right?
Correct.
Okay. So while retrieving, so if I want to retrieve only a mapper one alone with a specific so can you do that, or only I need to read that entire data from the mapper?
No. Okay. If you just want to get only specific amount of data from the table, right?
Yes.
That is possible. Instead of importing the entire query, you have the option to specify the query hyphen query. If you put the query, whatever query joins, you can select start from table 1, join table 2 on t1.id is equal to t2.id, where id is less than 100. If you can specify this query, the result of this query will get run in MySQL, and then the result only will be transferred to HDFS. That will transfer as a one file, or based on your requirement, it will transfer.
No, I mean to say in reverse order. So if I want to get only a part of data from the HDFS, like I need to get only the mapper one data alone from HDFS to that RDMS.
Yeah, here you will get, this is a mapper one data. Part 0 is a mapper one data. Each mapper will create one output file in the HDFS. So if you get the first file, that's a mapper one's output. If you get second file, that's mapper two output.
Okay.
Got it?
Because I don't know, right? So I don't know where my data is residing in. It will be either in the map 1 or map 2 or map 3 or map 4. Right?
Yeah, you don't know that. Correct. You don't know that.
So how this Hadoop will know that where my data resides?
No.
And because we have been filling as a file, right?
Yeah.
So because it won't be like on the it will not be like RDMS. It will not like columns and rows concept, right? So how this concept will know that this is a file or this is a table?
Based on this query only, it will get to know which file, which data should go to which file. Based on this query is getting generated inside, right? This query, we are calling it as bounding query. Based on this query only, data will get generated. Like if this, whatever the file which is getting generated, this will get 0 to 1 will go into mapper 1, that will go into mapper 1 file. In different cases, we go to mapper.
Okay, let me say in the example. So I want to select from the column of 50 to 110. Okay. So I want to read the data from the HDFS and put it into my RDBMS.
Okay, you want to take from HDFS and put it into RDBMS.
Yes.
Okay.
So how can I read the part of data, because it has been stored as a file, right? So how can we retrieve as a table?
Okay, you are talking about the exporting to RDBMS. That's what you're saying,
Yes.
right? In
Yes.
that case, you can create one Hive table on top of this, and then you query that. That is the only.
Hive table is a virtual table, right?
Hmm?
Is it going to be a virtual table?
It's a virtual table. Hive is also a virtual table only. It will impose the schema and that files.
Okay, I got it.
Only
Okay.
that is the way. Other than that, you don't have any other way. Or else you have to process each files to read the entire data and then find out.
Okay.
Okay. So this query, we call it as a bounding query, which we can use. And we'll run it. So it's also having primary key or items. Okay, everything has primary key. So my still meta store information schema CM RMN use table is not there. Okay, so now what we will do is, currently we ran it with a default mapper. So now what we will do, we will try to change the mapper, number of mapper, and then run it against one mapper, and we'll see how it functions. Just open the practical. So I can give, this is world, I'll give, and then table is city, and then mapper is 1. And also I have to specify the target directory. Since the city directory is already exist, it will throw an error. So I have to specify the target directory, specifically Cloudera city 1. And then I have to specify user root password. If we have one more option, if we don't want to pass the password in the command itself, we can specify -p also. So let's run it. Sqoop import connect. I'm just connecting to that particular database, and then same table, and then mapper 1. I'm specifying only one mapper. I'm specifying the target directory because this city is already exist, and then I'm giving the username password. So password, now I have to type some other error saying error passing user. Okay, I have to, there is some issues. Some syntax error. Username TLOUDR. sorry, sorry. So if you see, it just executes one query. Select T star from city as limit as 1. Why this query is getting fired is it will get the metadata from the target table and then it will start the job. After that, whatever the job it is getting created, it will create the map reduce in the backend, and then it will create one jar, city.jar, and then the jar will run. And then the job, currently the job is started. If you want to monitor the job, you can go here and monitor. You can monitor it here. Sorry, I went out. You can go to job tracker and monitor. Here we have job tracker. Where is the job tracker? So we have the resource manager. Here you can see the job is running. Name is city.jar, username is jar, and this much time it's running. It succeeded. It is succeeded also. 35 seconds is done. Let's see. Yeah, it is succeeded. Sorry, I keep on doing that. You can see the logs. If any error comes and all, then we have to come here only. Yeah, Hadoop and resource manager. Here the job will run. Now it is ended. But while the job is running, you can come here and see the logs. Now let's see how the data is there in SGFS. Now there will be one more folder. It should be there. Okay, city 1 is there. City 1. And then there is only one file. If you see, if you restrict the mapper, only one output file will get created. So based on how many mappers you are running, that many files, that many parallelism it will run, and that much it will create. Got it? If you don't have the primary key, then you can go for mapper 1, or if you want to just have everything in one file, then also you can go for mapper 1. Those are the times. Got it, everyone? Shall we move on? Anbuji, Anandji, Ganeshji, Selvanji, Shivaramji.
Can you please come again one more time?
If you, I just mentioned -m1, because of that it created only one file. Else it will create more files. Like how many mappers you are running, that many files it will get created. Okay.
So now you put your file into one mapper.
Yeah.
Your whole basically you dump your data in a one mapper.
Correct.
Anbu, one small doubt.
Yeah. Then it is.
If we mention 5 mappers, but the data number of rows is, for example, only 4, means that fifth mapper file will not have any details, right?
Yeah, correct. It will not have any details. Yeah, correct. You're right.
Okay.
And also there are some more issues can happen. That can happen is, I will just use split by column here. Split by. Now let's split by our own idea. Okay. So this. Let's split by name. Name is just a character. It might split into some. Wait, we don't know. Split by name, and then I'm giving city to target. I'm giving city to, and then password cloud I'm giving. Okay. So let's run this. Clear. So I have just changed the split by column name. If I did not give it, it will take the primary key as a split by. Currently, what I'm doing is I'm just replacing it. I'm replacing it by own column. This will impact the how the data is being spread, how each mapper is taking the load. This issue is happening because of my cluster. Like SDFS client is not running properly. So we can see here the job is started running. The job is started running. It is in first it is in accepted state, and then it will go into running state, and then it will be finished. Still it is in accepted state only.
So what is accepted state then?
Accepted state is nothing but in that time it will get look for resources. It needs to get the resources. That is accepted state. After that, once the resources is got for this particular job, then it will go for running state. Multiple stages for running MapReduce. Yarn. Now it went to running state. If you can see already the job is taking more time.
So the map percentage start means it's running.
Yeah, here if you see the status, no. I told running based on the status here, not the map 0. Based on the status. In if you want to see also, you have to go to Hadoop. If you are using 5.13, then you have to go to Yarn Resource Manager. There you will see the job. There you can click inside and then you can go and see the progress of the job. It is already running 1 minute 21 seconds.
Hadoop itself taking time. Hadoop itself taking time.
Yeah, something it is failed. SQL exception next file it's failed. So based on the record reader, DB record reader issue is coming. Let's see why this issue is coming. SQL exception, illegal mix-up collections, switch of Latin collateral operation. So it is failed due to the illegal name was there in the name field. So we gave name, but in name has some illegal character. Due to that, our Sqoop job has failed. So that is the reason it is not able to get the next value, because it will attempt to get the data based on the values, based on the query. In that query, it is having an issue. That's why the job is failed. It is still trying, but it will fail only.
Okay. Can we get where it has been failed, or which column has an issue?
Column which
map?
row it has issue that we will not be able to see. We will try to see it using the logs, but that is exactly we will not be able to track down. That we have to check it one by one. Then only we'll get logs. Illegal mix of character, collision, Latin system. Attempt to one error, Java IO exception, next value. It does not show which character exactly posed the issue, but it shows what is the issue. If we want to find that, then we have to write our manual logging statement to log it in outside. So those things we need to write. Currently what happened is the job is failed anyway. Only one job is retrieved.
RJ, one question.
Hmm.
So from Sqoop, RDBMS to we can put it only HDFS. We cannot put it into Hive.
We can put. We can.
We can.
We can. Hive we can put, HDFS we can put. Those are the variations which we can do. So that has some issues. The split by column. That's why it's failed.
So import you mentioned yesterday, it is for HDFS, correct? So if I want to put it into Hive, then what is the command for that?
No, Hive. What is Hive? What is Hive?
It's Hive could be used as a table, no? Like a
Okay, but
ISP.
what is Hive?
What is Hive? Good question.
Hive is nothing. It is just metadata which will look for the whatever you have a data in SDFS. Hive is just a meta store. It's just a virtual table. That's it. So when you are referring, you are going to put the data into Hive. You are obviously referring. You are put the data into SDFS. But only difference is you are going to create the metadata, like metadata of the files in structure. That's what Hive holds.
Okay.
Hive does not own any data. Again, illegal leaking of data. I think currently in recent version we have to give only integer for split column. That's why this issue is coming. In previous version we will be able to give character column also. Currently I think they limited into only integer column. Let's give the population column, it's integer. Let's see if this is successful.
Then this is the limitation from the Sqoop perspective, correct? Because if I use a file which doesn't integer, and sometimes I can have a varchar as a primary key.
Yeah. Some that is very much possible. That I will check that one. Previously, we will be able to give varchar character. That is absolutely possible. But currently, I'm not sure why this Latin issue is coming. It shouldn't come. Let's check. I will check that and get back.
Or is there way we can check it in Sqoop whether what it could be some ASCII character for the name?
Yeah, no ASCII and yeah, those things only issue. Varchar we can give, it should work. I'll check this issue why this failed.
Okay.
Yeah, but very much possible only. Varchar character and all it will accept, but only thing is it will spread in different way. That's the only thing it should happen. And using Sqoop also you can put the data into Amazon S3 also. Output data exists. Amazon S3 also you can put the data. And you can put the data into HBase also you can push using Sqoop import. But again, HBase is again you can have the SDFS as a HBase.
Can you come again? What is that? Yeah, that's what I was thinking. We can directly move this using this Sqoop. We can directly move this HBase, right? Why we are doing through the why we are doing here on Hadoop? I mean, why we are doing in HDFS?
Okay, why do we want to? At what case you want to go for HBase? Is it always we will be going HBase?
I mean, it's again a secondary backup, like storing the data in somewhere in the database.
No, understood. But on what case we should go for HBase and what case we should go for Hive? Is it like always we should go for a HBase or is there any recommendation?
No, always go for HBase rather. I mean, the Hive we use the internal, right, for any process.
So why do we go to HBase always?
To save the data somewhere in our backend.
Okay, but business use case will get badly hit, right? If you go for HBase is a NoSQL database, right? You will not be able to run aggregated queries on top of that. like as fast as I can do. HBase is not meant for running the aggregated queries, right? Do you agree?
Yeah. Okay.
So if you want to put the data into HBase, that is for only specific purpose. You might want to access the data randomly in a very fast manner, then you can go for HBase. There is no wrong. There are some use cases. In that case, we need to put the data into HBase. But the use case for that particular thing is you wanted to access the data very much faster. You want to access a random data. Let's say you have 1 billion record and you wanted to access one record out of 1 billion using very, very limited time, very low latency. Currently, HDFS does not gives low latency. If you put the data into HDFS, you will not be getting the low latency. But if you put the data into HBase, then it gives you low latency. If your project demands that requirement, then you will go for HBase. And also HBase offers you read write. You can change the values. Those are the what is that requirement or the use cases we need to keep in mind before choosing HBase or Hive. We can put the data into HBase, that is possible, but based on the requirement and use cases.
So essentially, Hive is structured and HBase is unstructured.
No, it's not like that. HBase is a semi-structured data and it also has schema. HBase is a structure. Hive is a structure. That is correct. HBase is a kind of semi-structured data. It is a. We cannot say it is unstructured. We can show unstructured data also over there, but it's kind of semi-structured. It is structured in a different way. Columnar database. We call it as a columnar database.
Okay.
Hive has high latency. Correct. So that is a different. In that case only you have to push to HBase, and in that case Hive. So yeah, there are a lot of tools. If we understood why we need to use it, then we can obviously use that. Correct. I hope that clears the question. Anandji, correct? You got it?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Because different project uses different things. Then in that case we will go that.
So now we are doing using the Sqoop. We are doing into the HBase. I mean, not the HBase. Sorry.
HDFS.
HDFS.
HDFS only we are doing. It's just how to push the data and all we are seeing. After that, we can create the Hive table also, and we can push the data into HBase also. These things also possible only. That
So when you use the Sqoop and try to do an HBase, so the data will go in a flat file or like how? Because in HDFS we store in the blocks. Right. So how do we store there in HBase?
HBase has its own data format. It's called H files. These files will be converted into H files and it will get stored over there.
So the Sqoop will do the Sqoop also will do the same. The
Sqoop will do. Yeah, exactly. That's how HBase works. So Sqoop has to do that. Sqoop will do that. If you import it to HBase, then that it will automatically convert it into H files and it will get stored in the region servers. That will happen.
Can you just like when we move the data from using a Sqoop, so the can you draw the picture like it goes to now we are doing in HBase, right? So no, HDFS. So from the HDFS, the Hive, where the Hive comes.
Hive is see, if we did not see Hive yet, anyway, I'll just explain you. I guess everybody is confused about Hive. Hive is nothing. Hive data is residing in HDFS. Okay, it does not have. It may have schema. It may not have schema. Something like that. You don't know. And for example, if you take this one city, we moved this file. Okay, we moved this particular city table into HDFS. HDFS is here. We moved that into HDFS. It is residing in one folder, correct?
Right.
So it has 4 files and that has records. That record is a structured one because I transferred from RDBMS. So since it is structured, how I can process this is I can write a Java program and process, or I can write Python program and get the data and process. But writing a program is a huge task, like it's a big task. For that, what Facebook comes up with, they created a tool called Hive. So Hive, what it does is, let's create one Hive table. Like Hive is a similar SQL like environment in HDFS. You can fire SQL queries in behind hoods. It will transform into SQL queries. Okay, just now I'm firing Hive so that we will see how Hive works. Currently, I am in the Hive environment. So what I am doing is, the data will be still here only. It will there in HDFS. Pointing to this location, I can create one table. Pointing to this location, I can create one table. Create one Hive table. So the Hive table does not hold any data. The Hive table, it will get created as a metadata level, and virtually it will just point to this location only. If you delete the data from this folder, then Hive table will not have any data. Whatever is there in this folder, it will just read. Hive will just read. That's what Hive does. Understood, Ji?
Yeah, so it's an empty table, something kind of logical table.
Correct.
Okay.
So if you want to move into from Sqoop to Hive, you can manually create the table like whatever we are doing right now, or you can write a Hive import. There is a tool import called Hive import. Then it will just get Hive table will always automatically get created.
So the Hive always goes after the HDFS.
Yeah, Hive always points the HDFS location for its data. See, this is how we can just create Hive table and then it will just point it. That's it.
Can we able to say ROG like that? It is a kind of a replacement of MapReducer.
Yeah, it is a kind of replacement for MapReducer. It's not replacement. It is just a use tool where if you run a Hive job, it will run MapReduce jobs behind the hood. Even Sqoop is a kind of tool for MapReduce, right? It runs MapReduce jobs behind the hood only. But you don't have to write a Java program. It automatically creates in a backend.
But MapReduce, we don't create any SQL statement, right? In MapReduce.
Yeah, we don't create any SQL statement. But if you give SQL statement behind it, it will convert into MapReduce.
And the system will understand only Java, so that's why this Hive SQL queries will convert it into Java.
Correct.
And it runs it. Rather, if you use a MapReducer, then MapReducer itself directly in a Java, so the system will understand.
Yes, that is a native language, MapReduce. That if we ran a MapReduce code, that is too huge, right? We need to run it and compile and push it. In Hive, it is not necessary. It will immediately get created. It will run. That's why they created Hive, Pig, and Sqoop, Flume. Those things. That's why those get created in order to make the job easier. Like who uses big data? Mostly big data related people. The data related people, they don't know about Java. They don't know about Python. Like they only know about SQLs. That is why Facebook has created Hive. That is the purpose. Facebook created Hive. They only created Hive. Facebook created Hive for that purpose only. Because only Java programmers, they were able to come into MapReduce initially. After the Hive, the implementation went huge. Currently now 80% of projects runs in Hive. Understood? So here we are in Hive. We can create a table. Let's create a table then just for demo. We'll just create one table.
Did we copy the tables? Did we copy the table and data for using a Sqoop?
Sqoop data, yesterday itself we did a Sqoop, right?
Okay.
So data is already there in the path. In HDFS, data is already there, right?
Right.
We're just going to create one table which can point to that location. That's all we are going to do right now. I just getting a syntax to create a table. I just forget.
So, Arji, one basic question.
Hmm.
Why we export the data to map instead of why don't we call it a block? Why we are calling as a map? Because the
Map.
map is again one pointer in the one pointer in the data node.
No. Map. We are not calling the data as a map. We are calling while job is running. We are calling the map is running. It is a running of the job. It is not the storage of the job. Like running the job is map and reduce, right?
Right.
So map is a process. First level of process is map. Second level of process is reduce. So map
Right.
is just a process. That's why we are calling it as a map. It is not a storing of data.
Okay. So, but ultimately it stores in the blocks only.
No. Map will not store any data, right? Map is just it just runs.
No, the SQL. I mean the Sqoop. The Sqoop.
Sqoop. Finally, Sqoop will store the data.
Sqoop will store the data in blocks only.
Correct. Sqoop will, of course. Sqoop will store the data in blocks only. Finally.
Yeah.
Sqoop stores the data in HDFS. HDFS stores the data in blocks. That's the correct way to do it.
Yeah.
That's the correct way to put it. Okay, I'm just creating the same table in Hive. Same structure I'm creating. Restrict it, and then okay, it has an ID name, 5 columns, user ID. I gave ID. Okay, ID itself we can give ID, and then name, country code, district, population. Fine. So everything is done. Let's create the table.
ID you want to give it in string or integer?
Everything is string in Hive. There is for the safety purpose we give everything in string. We don't go for integer. Like that, those details will come in later. Those are the things you have to handle it.
Because it's unstructured data.
It's kind of like that, but if you give, let's say I'm giving a int, if the data comes in string, while reading it will go into null. It will not show me any error. So that's why we always give null string for everything. We don't worry. In the first level of layer, this is the first layer. Okay, so I'm just creating an external table pointing to that location where we scooped the data. Okay, so let's copy it. Let's paste it. Let's create a table. Table created. Then let's just query the data. Select star from. So if you see the data is fetched, immediately the data comes. We did not load anything. All we did is created an external table pointing to the location because we already pushed the data into this location. Data is getting read. This is what Hive is. It is nothing but a metadata. It's just virtual table. But it has, if you show tables, you can still see the table because you created the table, and you can see show create table user info ext. You can see the table, how you created the table, everything you can see. But at the end, it is just an external table. It is just a metadata. If you delete this table, drop table user info ext, it's just what's the issue? Drop. Okay, drop table is spelling mistake. That's it. The table deleted, but the record is not deleted. Record is still there.
Yeah, record is in block.
Yeah, record is there. But if current, that's a thing. That's what Hive is.
So record in the HDFS still exists, right?
Yeah, record in HDFS still exists because you did not delete it. You just dropped. You created on virtually. You pointed something to that location. Now you deleted it as a virtual location. That nothing harms the table.
So here I can do only select, like
No, you can do anything. You can do the queries also. It's
no.
like
No. What I mean is like, can I go for update or something?
You
No.
will not be able to update directly, but you can update from Hive, but that is a costly operation that available after 1.2 version. You can update.
So if I can update, then the same data will get updated in HDFS.
Of course, that will get updated.
So that means that I can do the rewrite.
You can do the rewrite. But what internally what happens is it deleted and created new file in the same name. Internally, that's what it does. Because of it's a tool, we see it as a rewrite, but it will delete the file and it will recreate the same file.
Okay.
That's what happens in the behind. Okay, so that's Hive. We will go into Hive. Once we completed this, we'll go into Hive. Right now, we'll focus on Sqoop. Okay, so those are the things are possible with Sqoop and Hive. Obviously, whatever we are discussing that is relevant. Once the data is there into Hive, Sqoop or HDFS, the next layer is going to be HDFS, Hive or HBase or those things only. The data will reside in HDFS. That is a basic thing. Mostly we'll do that. So on top of that, what is our next layer? That determines where we should do should store the data. Whether we are going to do the Hive and Hive queries, or we are going to do HBase. Those decides our importing, where to import and all. Okay. So that is fine. We just imported something. Now, what if I want to export? If I want to export the data, that also I can do. If I want to export the data into back to the RDBMS from HDFS, I want to push the data back to RDBMS. For that, what I can do? For that also, there is the export is there. I steps and closing. Snowfall.java, snowfall. Just import. Okay, so for that we will be using one external data. We'll push that into Hadoop first. There is a data called snowfall. We have it in our Sqoop folder itself, snowfall.csv. Microsoft Excel. Why it is in Excel format? It should be in CSV. Okay, it's a comma separated file only. Let's copy into HDFS. CD desktop. Hadoop. Yes. Oh, sorry.
Aruji,
Yeah.
when we are exporting the data to HDFS from the MySQL, can we specify any specific delimiter?
Yes, you can specify the delimiter also. For that, what you have to do is you have to mention in Sqoop. There is a command where you can specify the delimiter here.
Oh, correct.
There are whatever we are seeing is just starting command. There are more commands. There is one more folder, like one more file sheet is there. That is called more commands. There you can see and you can find most of the commands what we use. Those are some advanced commands.
Okay.
There, like everything will be there.
The import is nothing but the unloading, correct?
Import is just the loading, correct? Yeah.
And in HDFS, do you have the kind of fragmentation? Because if more files and blocks are being used and deleting some files, so Usually we does the fragmentation now from the memory perspective.
Yeah, from memory perspective, that is, we have the F disk, like FSDK is there. Using that, we can do. Like that will again defragment the same. That is there. Compaction is there. The same thing here also is there. Okay, I moved the data into my HDFS, and in order to move the data to MySQL, we need to create the table in MySQL first. MySQL -u root -b Cloudera. Let me create one database. For that particular format, I'm just creating this. And then I am just like executing the command. Table, I need to specify the table name. This is Sqoop export. So I'm using this command Sqoop export. After that, I'm specifying the connection string. After that, I'm specifying the table. What is the table we just created? I'll just give this one. It's not world actually. It is arumugam. And then export folder. This we need to give. Cloudera we need to give. Then we'll run this. What is this issues coming? Running Sqoop version, error passing argument, no call, hyphen table. Okay, there is a space missing. So this command again, it checks whether the table exists or not. Always that will get fired before the MapReduce job starts. And then it creates a jar.
Yeah, this table is structured because it's going to RDBMS.
Yeah, correct. The table and the file input file also structured. That's why it will have the RDBMS. And RDBMS is a schema on write. If you are trying to write a wrong schema and the wrong table, it will throw error. If you are trying to write string in the integer column, it will throw error and you will fail the job. So that will happen. But the reverse is not true. HDFS is schema on read. So once you read this any file, that time only schema will get enforced. Like the Hive, whatever we just created on Hive table, there when you are creating a structure, that time only schema is enforced. Other than that, there is no time. It will not get enforced. Okay, it is moved. Let's see. Okay, it is moved. The data is moved, which is fine. So here, these things are moved. There is no fine. There's not much issues with this and all. But what could be the issues or what could be the things we need to take care when we go for production or something like that? One main thing what we need to do, what will change there is, you will not be able to provide password like that. It is not possible. In that case, what you have to do is you can use two things. One is -p, you can type while the job is running. But again, if you go for let's say if you are going for production script level, then again -p also you cannot give. In that time, what you can do is you can use a password file -p. Then you can specify the password file. In that file, you can specify the password that can get read for your script. That is one way which we are doing currently. Okay, that is one thing you need to take care when going to prod. And also this currently we are trying to import one table, two tables like that. But if we go for production level or job level, what the requirement usually will be, sorry. So if we go for production level and or something, the requirement will be move the database to Hadoop, HDFS. The database, it will have 10 TB, 5 TB, something like that. It will be huge database will be there. Those kind of requirements will be there. In that case, what we can do is we can have a couple of comments which we can do. One is we have a command called all tables. As we import all tables, right? We can import all the tables. There is a command called --- all tables that will import all the tables from Sqoop from RDBMS to HDFS. That is also we have in this particular.
Arju, one question here.
Yeah.
Suppose when I'm trying to import some data from the HDFS to RDBMS, that time if the table is exist. So in that scenario, what will happen?
On that time, if the
suppose the table is already I didn't know.
Already table exists before importing, exporting from HDFS to RDBMS. The table is already exists. The duplicate table.
Okay, table is.
What will happen?
Table should exist, right? You are saying the record is exist.
Yes. The table is already exist with the record.
Okay. Then if it is a primary key, then it will throw error because it will not be able to insert the same primary key again. If it is non-primary key, it will get inserted and get duplicated.
Okay. So suppose if the record is not duplicated, so in that scenario it will append. So it will add the additional records, right?
Yeah, correct. It will add the additional records. It will.
Okay. Okay.
So, Arju, one more thing. Like when we are exporting from HDFS to RDBMS, also the files will be copied from the all four map, or it directly take it and dump it.
So if we are giving, if you see, we are giving the folder.
Right.
So in the folder, how many you can have n number of export directory only we are giving. So in this export directory, you can have n number of files. All the files in the folder will be read and pushed into RDBMS. So whether it is 4 files, 5 files, it doesn't matter. How many files you have in the folder, everything will get exported. So we are mentioning the folder. Not
so here the map will not come into the picture.
No, map will not come into the picture.
So in the scenario, all the files
when you're executing, map percentage is showing 25%, 30%, 50%.
No. See, the map and reduce that is just for parallel processing, right? So here to there's a different scenario. Like if the file is huge, if there is 4, then 4 mappers again will run. The total size of files will be split into mappers. That will get exported, right?
Yeah. While exporting from RDBMS to
importing and exporting via Sqoop always happens through map. It always creates map jobs and put it. How the data is split, that has to do with the calculations. From importing, the calculation is different. For exporting, the calculation is based on size of the file. That's it.
Okay.
Okay, but always map will run. If you run Sqoop, it 100% runs map.
Okay. Because for exporting, you said like for exporting, there is a 4 by default. You will have a 4 map. 4 maps will create. While importing, you don't need that doesn't care.
Importing what we don't need.
The maps 4 or 5 or doesn't matter, whatever it is.
No. Again, there is
No,
a bit confusion. Default mapper is 4 in Sqoop. Okay, ji?
Right.
It doesn't matter whether it's import or export. Default mapper will run 4 mappers will run.
Okay.
Correct, ji? Clear? Agree?
Mhm.
So default mapper is 4 always. So what is mapper? Mapper is nothing but parallelly 4 jobs will run. Parallelly 4 jobs will run in the same time. Correct? Agree, ji?
Yeah, correct.
Mapper means just that. So how, let's say we are doing import. If we are doing import, in that time we are running 4 mappers and we have n number of records. Let's say we have 100 records.
Mhm.
This has to get splitted across the 4 mappers.
Right. Yeah.
For that we have particular what is that, conditions and particular equations to arrive to that which file, which record, from which record to which record should go to which mapper. Correct?
Mhm.
That is import. In export, we don't have that. We have only folders and files. So in that case, we can have one huge file. If that is the case, then that has to internally get splitted and put into 4 mappers, right?
Right.
If we have 4 files, then each file can go into one mapper. That each file can go into each mapper. That is also possible. That will get handled by MapReduce jobs itself. We don't have to worry about this part. That's it. But both side mappers are important, whether you are doing import or export.
So the import, while doing import, so you said like the record 1 to 100, 1 to 25, 25 to 50. So that goes in a sequential order, like as earlier there was a question actually somebody asking, like if I want to retry the only, I mean if I want to do only for the first 25.
Okay. First 25 where?
Um,
You wanted to import only first 25 records?
yeah.
That is possible. But the question that time was, if I want to retrieve in between some records like 51 to 110.
Right.
Correct. That was the question. That case, we solve it using a Hive table. If you want to retrieve only those records, you can solve it using the Hive table.
Okay.
Correct.
Yeah.
And here, this jobs become SQL if you have only one, if you are running only one mapper, right? One mapper, then the entire job becomes SQL because one by one, only one mapper is running. It will only go like that only, correct?
Right.
If you run 4 mappers, then first 25, like your job parallelism is 4. So
Right.
your job will run 4 times as faster compared to one mapper.
Right.
That's it. That is the reason why if you give 4 mapper, 4 output files is getting created, because 4 output files are getting created independently. It is not waiting for other map to complete, because it knows what is the records, what is the record it has to move, because it is created internally using the boundary value query, right?
Right.
That's
Yeah. Why I was asking, because if I have a 1 million record, but I want to, only scoop it only like 1,000 records.
okay. For that, we have a special thing called query. You can write a query and import only what are the result of the query. That we will see right now.
So where we write that query, is it in
Yeah, we are going to write it right now. Give me 2 minutes. Okay. Okay. Here. So let's just. So what I'm going to do is quick start. Instead of quick start, let me use my quick start. I'm just giving the localhost world. Okay. and then I'm giving username is root, password is Cloudra, that's fine, and directory is username Cloudra query result. Number of mappers which is not needed. Split by, we need to give ID. Okay, query result is given. And here, let's give. Let's say in city, you select star from city. Okay. So now let's retrieve only first 100 records. That's the question, right? Or first 1000 records, right?
Yeah, I mean, either way, first 1000 or like, probably maybe while city is equal to something like,
Okay,
or,
fine. We can do city. City is equal to.
so, okay, so so you have to write a, condition.
SQL query.
SQL query itself.
Yeah.
So it's not like, dumping a data using
No.
a Sqoop.
We have
like
to
you
write
said.
a query. Select star from city where, let's say,
Okay.
district. District is equal to, it's California. Okay, it's US only anyway. So copy. Okay, so there are 68 records are coming for this particular query. Let's only scoop this query only. Okay.
Arju, while you are typing, is there other way we can do for export? We can do filter class.
Import?
No, while exporting from HDFS to MySQL. From flat file, it will be very difficult to do that, correct?
From flat file, you have to write a Hive query, create the temporary folder. From there, you have to export it.
Oh, that's how it should go.
That's how we need to put it. So here, let's run. And here we are giving a query. Instead of entire table, we are running a query and then we are getting a result. Okay. So, but what we are doing is,
you are passing the condition.
And there is one more condition we are giving. This is a mandatory condition for Sqoop to run. It uses internal purpose they use, like Sqoop use. So this is mandatorily we need to give. It will use for an internal purpose. So we are giving it. And then target directory we are giving. Here split by column is mandatory. If you are giving query, then split by column is mandatory. We must give. Everybody understood the query? Like Anandji, Ganeshji, Anbuji, Shalomji.
If you have too many conditions, then we will have a end up with the condition.
Yeah, you can keep on going with the conditions. You can write how many conditions you want. You can write. Keep on writing.
No, it depends upon how many where class you have. You have to put that conditions, or what is there?
This is our query, right? This is our query.
No. The dollar condition.
This is just that only. You can have n number of conditions, but one time you have to specify. It's not multiple time. Only one time.
Okay.
At the end, you have to put and conditions, dollar conditions. That's it.
Just one time.
Yeah, that is the end of select statement.
End of select statement, correct. End of the query statement. You can write query anything. So everybody understood this query, this Sqoop import, like Vigneshji and Selvanji and Shivaramaji.
Yeah, yes, yeah, I'm fine with that.
Yes, sir.
We run it. Okay, it is running. If you see, it is running executing SQL statement. It is running. Select star from city where district is California and 1 equal to 0. In that condition, it put something like it is using for its internal purpose. Now 1 is equal to 1. It is again changing it. So what happens in the condition is while runtime, it just initially it is giving 1 is equal to 0 because this time this will fail. After that, it will get true 1 is equal to 1 so that the actual import will start. Now the import is getting started. 68 records should get moved. That should be the ideal way. Okay, 68 record is moved. So let's see what is the output. Output directory is Cloudera query result. So how many files would have created there? Any idea? Any guesses?
4.
Could be 1.
4. Because we did not specify number of mappers, it took 4 mappers default. So 4 output is get created. So that's the way. That's how it
Okay.
works.
Okay, I have only one record. The out results it is, and I don't define the mappers. So how in that case, how many files?
Still 4 files. If you did not specify number of mappers, 4 files. Only one file will have record. Other files will have 0 records. Let's try that also. And ID is equal to 4065. This should give only one record, right? Let's run this query. Result 1.
Arjun, now it will be duplicate, right? Because
What?
it's already there. This record is already there, right?
No. This record is there, but I'm changing the target directory.
Oh, okay.
If you give the same target directory, it will not get duplicated. It will throw error. Like target directory exists.
Okay.
We have to clean the directory.
So every time you need to insert into new location.
Either you need to insert it to new, or you have to delete the old directory. That's in our hand.
No, but you said we can append, correct? We can append to the existing one.
Append is a different query. We have to go into the query and we have to do.
Okay.
Here we are not doing an incremental load, right?
Yeah, got it. But I was just clarifying.
Yeah, that is possible. That is possible.
Yeah.
One record it is retrieved. Oh, okay. Only one record is created. It should have 4 records. Okay.
See, that's why I was asking, because we are unnecessarily increasing the volume on the HDFS side.
No, it creates 4 records that I'm sure in projects and all we are facing this. But how come here it is creating? Let's see.
But you are increasing the file size in HDFS.
Yeah, but 0-byte files will get created. But here it is not created. And how many maps ran? Let's see how many maps.
Can you check your query? Like
okay, only one map ran here. If you see, only one map ran. The map task ran is 1.
Yeah, Aru, can you go and check your HDFS import? Like how many maps you have been specified?
Yeah. No, we did not specify. It's a default one.
It's a default one. He didn't specify anything.
If we give M4, then 4 will be created. But here it takes only one mapper, it seems. Okay, sorry. Again, the output folder will be.
Change it to 2.
The mapper is set to 1. That's why one file created. But default is 4. If you give 1, it's get created only 1.
So that.
No, I think based on the volume, the map is doing the adjustment and creating the file.
Yeah, but that is not available in previously Sqoop. Currently, it came. It seems like it is not available.
No, I think it's based upon the formula, right? That minimum and maximum.
No.
Again, number of map tasks launched is only 1. Even though if we give only one record, it gets only one map record started. Other map is not at all created. If you see,
so it is artificial intelligence. It is acting according to the.
Okay. No. See, it is correct only. In map reduce jobs, we don't have the control over the maps. But then in that case, In that case also, then how come they're saying like it is having default?
You have only one record, that's why it won't split.
Okay, if it is a one record, then only one map.
Anbuji, that's why I was asking whether what will happen if we have just one record, because the earlier example we saw 4 because the volume is 66 or 68, so it's split it into. In this case,
Aru, can we just go and check that? You said that there will be internally calculation has been done, right, for the minimum and maximum number of keys and all.
Correct.
So can we go and check? Can we check with that same query?
Yeah. Okay, sure, we can check.
Somewhere you showed on the notepad.
Yeah, 1 minute. Let's see whether here also. Here. Bounding query should get created here. Okay, here only it's created. Bounding query, this is what you're saying, right?
See, yeah.
Select star from number of splits is 4 from here to here. Chord exception, interrupt exception, wait native method, data streamer, close responder. Okay, number of split is 1. Okay, let's take 4 records in.
No. One second. You remove that condition, right?
Where condition, right? And condition, right?
Yeah, you remove the condition, but
Yeah.
Which no, I have this condition I had.
Now it should record. Now it should load a 68 records. So 68.
No. For the 68 record, it should come. It should come in 6 mappers. That is expected output.
No, yeah, 6 mappers we explicitly mentioned, right? So if we have there only 4 records.
Okay, in that case only it should have create only one. Okay, that's a correct scenario. We'll try that scenario also after this. Let's get 4.
If the result is going to be only 4 records. And so if we didn't mention about anything on the map, so let's see how it goes there.
Yes.
Like 40202 40224. Four zero two zero 24024. 4020.
Okay, 1 minute. Let's just 70. We can give from 74.
Yeah, 72, 73 or.
Now we have only 4 records, right?
Yeah.
So this we can give. We can give with 6 mappers. Okay, we just find number of tasks is 7. Okay, that's fine. Let's try this.
Before that, can you just?
Manji?
No, sorry.
ID is greater than 60. Oh, sorry. Output directory I didn't change.
One it shows number of splits 6 and then number of splits 4. What? Oh, I think
No, we specified number of like mapper 6, but only we gave only 4 records.
Right.
okay.
So in that case, again, it automatically changes split into 4. Whatever the 0 mapping record, it is not creating the mapper. Yeah, it is 4 mapper only. It looks like it. Retrieve 4 records, ran 4 map tests only. Okay, so if it is a 0-byte file, it is not creating a 0-byte file. 4 is file.
Or probably you are having any settings not to show 0.
No, this is the fresh copy of this. There is no settings involved.
Okay.
This is recent, like latest one, latest VMware. Like after somebody faced the issue, I changed it. Mine also in 5.13 version. So previously I was using 4 version. So there it will create the number of mappers for 0-byte file also. In recent version, it is not doing it. It is just if the record is 0, it is not creating the map task. It is adjusting the maps according to that. So that is the case here. Okay, that is a good
It acts very intelligently.
Hmm?
It acts very intelligently.
No, yeah, recently it got updated and it's they implemented this update. It looks like okay. That's a good finding, by the way. It's good. Okay. And also some of the more comments we have. What are those comments? Is we can what we can do is we can do eval command. So based on that, using that, you can just do eval and check whether the data exists there or not, whether the particular file or databases the how many list of databases we can do from Sqoop itself, and evaluate whether the query is there or not. What is the result of the query? Those things we can find using those kind of special commands. We can say those things are used to just to check and find out what is the query is happening, how many list of tables are there, like that. Further also we can do. Sometimes the things comes, you have 100 tables in a DB, and you have to transfer only 50 tables. You have to scoop only 50 tables. In that case, how can we handle? Any idea? Any guesses? You have 100 tables in DB and you have to transfer only 50 tables. So any idea how can we handle this in a logical way?
Do you have any like statement?
We don't have like as such.
Okay. Then
So all we can do is we can do the all tables and exclude. We'll give one configuration file where we have to exclude those tables. So we can exclude the table list. Whatever is not needed, we can exclude. Those way we can do. That is just one way of doing it.
So at that time there is no primary, secondary.
That is for tables, right? This is number of tables. That time we can handle. All tables means it will take care. Entire DB it will take. Okay.
can't we use intermediate any migration tool for moving the files when you say 100 tables and things like that?
You can create a migration tool from Sqoop that you can implement it. But again, what you are going to do is you are going to use some of the commands only. Whatever we have the commands, you will use command to design the tool interactively. Other than that, there is no way. Some of the databases they are giving natively. You can export and import. That kind of things also possible.
But all tool or whatever it is, it does the import and export. How we are doing it, that's the matter, correct?
Yeah, correct. Okay, so you can go through these comments, and today we'll wrap up by this one. And tomorrow what we'll do is we'll do one end-to-end flow of the project. We'll just start from importing and run some map reduce, and then we'll bring it to Sqoop and we'll bring it to HBase also, so that we'll get an overall idea how this things like work in a way. You can go through all these documents which is there in our folder and ask us for any doubts. Okay. Sir, any other doubts right now?
RJ, one out of the question, you mentioned snowfall, correct?
Yeah.
So you got the terminology snowfall from the migration tool perspective, or just a name that you gave it?
That is just a name for the file.
Okay.
Snowfall is just an input file which we got from one source. That's why we use the same name.
Okay, because there is one tool where we use for migration from, and the name called snowfall.
Okay, fine. No, it is not that. It is just a name.
Okay.
Name for the file. Okay. Yeah. So thank you. I hope today's class is useful and interesting. We'll see tomorrow class. I'll upload the recording once the class is completed. Thank you. Thanks everyone.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks, RJ.
Thanks, Aaron.
Thanks.